serenaded by the sweet sounds of Protoss music in the background. And here in the top left-hand corner of the map, Tal'Darim altar, we have our purple Zerg player from MVP winning the last game in style. It is Sniper. And his opponent in the lower left-hand corner, from Team SCV Life, our red Protoss player, Inori.
Now, the last Zerg vs. Protoss we saw on this map was a cross-positions game between Lucira and Squirtle. Squirtle tried to go for some two-base Colossus play that did not work out quite that well, as Lucira was able to defend it and then pretty much crush the army and win the game. Now, as you mentioned before, the cast Mutalisk play was always kind of the popular way to go in ZVT, or ZVP rather. You can bounce between the three bases very easily, and two-base Mutas is just a really good way to play in general.
Okay, so, you know, we'll kind of go over this, as we say a lot of times. Obviously, three-base no gas is very popular from Zerg players. You have those destructible rocks, so unless you make a concerted effort to break those down right away, very difficult to try and play that heavy roach style, or at least that defensive roach into infestor style that is so fond of, or that Zerg players are so fond of nowadays.
Yep. And so Inori going to be maybe worrying a little bit about, I mean, as you can see, already does have a scout out very early. Like we saw earlier, early pools can be popular in ZVP sometimes. We saw it on Entombed Valley. We see it fairly frequently on Tal'Darim Altar as well. And he wants to make sure that that doesn't happen to him. He doesn't want to become a statistic.
No one wants to become
another
a statistic.
one of those early pool damage-taking statistics.
Yes, that's one of the hardest hit groups in society right now, if I do say so myself.
Right. Protoss players on Tal'Darim Altar dying to early pools, or at least being set behind a lot by early pools.
We just get an interview with Zeratul, and he's sitting there like one single tear coming down.
Yep. He's just a Dark Templar, man.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to worry about that. He's not going to come into the game until much later.
That's true. He's like, I don't want to be a stalker.
He's like hanging out in a spaceship, and they're like, hey, Zeratul, we'd really like you to come down to this planet and help us out. He's like, I don't know, do you have enough gas? And they're like, oh, no, we don't. We forgot how much you require. And he's like, I know. Mine more, and I'll come down later.
Is that really, when you think about it, though, I mean, some of the things kind of make sense for some of the races, I suppose. Terran, you need resources.
You're building the stuff.
Drill into a building, and things happen. With Protoss, though, it's like you just need so much to warp it in from your home planet.
It's kind of like they're bribing the units to come through. It's like the Zealots are like, I'm really zealous of my love for the Protoss race, and I want to fight things, and they're like, well, all right, come through the gateway. Let's fight some Zerg. And he's like, that'll be 100 minerals, please. And they're like, oh, okay.
Well,
I
guess so.
And he's like, that was easy, wasn't it?
But they're so nice and ordered that each one requires the same bribe to go through, so.
Immortal should say, I return to serve if the price is right.
For some measure of minerals and gas.
That's right.
I just don't understand. Just warp things in. Protoss should just be able to win automatically. Hey, third base coming out of Sniper, though. He's taking the third base that's a lot farther away. As you can see, compared to your normal third, it's a long walk distance to get all the way over there. So it's very hard to defend. But if it goes undetected, it works out really well.
It really is. And I mean, the thing is that if you can take it away from your opponent like that, you know, he looked at the spawn positions first and then decided to do this, it can be a little bit safer to do that. I mean, Inori is obviously going to need to walk a long way to get to it. Just by the same token, Sniper needs to walk a long way for the units that come out of that too. But what you can do when that pops is just use all your larvae at that hatchery for workers and things like that, and make sure that you have your other hatcheries on a separate hotkey so you can have all your units coming out in the place that you need them the most. So if you manage your hotkeys well enough, if you can kind of multitask like that, like I'd imagine Sniper can, it's not really going to be that much more challenging to have that base a little ways off.
So for now, nothing too out of the ordinary coming out of Inori now. 2 gas coming up for Sniper, though, so not going to play this like a totally traditional 3-base no gas strategy. Let's see here. He's sitting, I guess it's not too bad, actually. I take that back a bit. Even though the base is coming down a little bit later because it's farther away, he's still just on about 35 drones at the moment, so not too out of the ordinary.
It's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a lot out of the ordinary there as well. And look at this. He's also working on the rocks right now. A Sniper is trying to take down those rocks with those Zerglings. And while he can take a 4th base there, this, as we can see from the Roach Warring going down, is more of a fake out than anything.
Yes.
He's trying to get Sniper to think, or trying to get Inori rather, to think that those are his 2 only bases. And I would say for now, Inori's probably buying it. You know, he hasn't really scouted it. He has no reason to believe otherwise. Forward pylon, I believe, is that a forward pylon? Nope.
No,
just
it's
a
just
zealot
unit.
and a stalker. Okay, just checking that, and he's like, aha, you haven't taken a 4th base yet. But he's wrong.
Well, and no, it's let's see here now. It's 3 gateways and a robotics facility coming out for Inori at the moment. And I want to know what he's going to do here. 4th gate coming down a little bit later. This makes it a little more clear. 5 gates for now. We may see even 1 or 2 more here in a second. We'll see if he does some sort of a big 3 immortal push.
Pretty common on this map to do something like that, especially with these spawn positions, and especially because a lot of time you're going to be assuming that your opponent doesn't have their 3rd base and won't really have as many units as they would on a map like Daybreak or something like that. But what Inori doesn't know still is that Sniper really isn't being held back in units at all by the map. He's got his 3rd base. He's got a Roach Warren and upgrades on the way, so he's going to be able to produce an army that can probably handle what Inori has coming at him. Now, that said, it's still a very, very strong push. You're still going to have to deal with those force fields the same. If you don't engage your opponent's army until they get right up at your natural, you're going to have a very, very hard time, no matter how many bases you have as a Zerg player. So Sniper, you know, while he's kind of pulled one over on Inori for now, isn't out of the hot water just yet.
Well, it is going to be a total of 7 gates as we see gates 6 and 7 are on the way right now. Sniper trying to duck in there with a couple of Zerglings to see what's up. Doesn't really get a good glimpse at anything, though. If I have it right, okay, just the 1st immortal up, 2nd on the way for now. But gateways number 6 and 7 are going to start warping in very, very soon.
And I think Inori is about to move out pretty soon here. He's got his immortal Sniper. I like that he has that out on the map to watch for this sort of thing, and to maybe make it a little bit tougher for Inori to move across the map, make him very, very careful about how he keeps his sentries in with his army, and he may even be able to coax some energy usage out of Inori too, maybe a couple force fields that he doesn't want to use just yet.
Well, it is Warp Prism following this up, so just 2 Immortals and a Warp Prism for now.
It's pretty all in.
And we'll see what Sniper does in response. Already got Spine Crawlers coming down at the front, though, and is already sitting on 16 Roaches, going up to 28 here momentarily, and Roach speed is going to hit before this army does.
Yep, that's right. So he's going to be about as well prepared as you can be in this particular case. But still, losing those Zerglings doesn't help. And Inori's still got an incredibly strong push coming.
That is certainly true, and this Warp Prism going to act as that mobile pylon up at the front. Most of the creep tumors have gone down, and of course Inori, I believe, still operating under the assumption that there's only 2 bases up. He's going to swing around the left-hand side like, I'm going to steal this base from you. Oh, wait a second. It's not up.
Yeah. Sniper trying to get in position to do a bit of a flank on the army here. His army coming around the backside is a little bit late, so he does need to delay just a little bit. And, oh, wow, he's so lucky that the force fields were not quite right there.
Yeah.
And here he comes from behind.
Yeah, that went from what could have been an incredible victory for Inori to not great, if I have to say so myself. So, and a significant number of forces out for Sniper. Now he's about ready to max out.
They came from behind. I don't know why I kind of said that like Admiral Akbar when it was really...
That's a trap.
I believe it was Red Leader or Yellow Leader that said it. I can't remember.
But now I have Admiral Akbar sitting and saying, and it's okay by me still. So
that's okay.
And Inori just really off with these force fields. Unfortunately, not really catching anything.
That Immortal's like, I hate sentries too.
Yeah, well, now he's actually in danger of sacrificing a few of his sentries here as his army is really cut off. He's trying to pull back at the moment and separate those units once again. But again, Sniper gets away without suffering that many losses.
All right, well, things are very, very tense right now. Inori has used a ton of energy without really doing any damage quite yet. He's got a lot of Stalkers coming in. He's got his Immortals still, although they are getting very, very bold in the front of the army like that. But he has to worry about 2 sides. Inori kind of looks like a runner in baseball that's trying to decide which base to run to, and neither one looks like a good option. He may be a little bit trapped here, and keep in mind, he needs to win this fight. If he doesn't win this fight, he might as well GG. I mean, he's getting his robotics bay right now, but he's used up so many resources and so much time putting this together that it's going to be tough for him if this doesn't work out.
And the longer he delays, the stronger the Sniper's position is going to get. He's going up to his infestation pit. It looks like he may even be sneaking drones away to eventually take a 4th gear very soon.
Oh, here we go.
And it looks like Sniper going to try and move in once again. The Immortal gets picked up inside of the Warp Prism a couple of times, as a matter of fact. This Immortal sitting on 16 kills for now. There's still quite a bit of firepower here, but Inori's forces are dwindling a little bit.
Yeah, they certainly are. One Immortal still going. It does go down, though, and it doesn't look like Inori's going to have enough to live through this. Yeah, he's just going to pick up what he can and get out of there. He's going to go to the main as well to try to harass, because now he's like, oh man, I'm going to be dead to a counterattack unless I pull his army back into his main right now. But he's not quite doing it. The effect is still the same, though, so yeah, all right.
Yeah, that may be true, but of course, Infestation Pit is down now. We may see Hive Tech here in just a bit, as Aspire is on the way as well.
Well, honestly, Sniper can kind of do whatever he wants at this point. He's so incredibly far ahead, and Nori's still on 2 bases. Sniper with all the tech and all the time in the world, essentially. All he needs to do is defend against this War Prism, and that's not going to be that hard when it's the only thing he needs to worry about.
Yeah, and Inori just trying to be annoying for now because he's putting up his 3rd base. He's going over to Colossi, as we mentioned before, but he's getting pretty mined out of a couple of bases there. Looks like he may be able to pick himself off a Queen. No, the Queen burrows. I don't know why he jumped back up, but anyway.
This is actually working so well. Inori is actually buying himself a lot of time. Oh, there we go. The Overseer hanging out there above, just kind of for moral support, I guess. And it does die as well, but really, I mean, this War Prism is the only thing that's keeping Inori alive right now, because if Sniper didn't have the incentive to follow this thing around, he would be down in Inori's base right now, killing him. So Inori is doing a really excellent job buying himself time.
And he certainly needs it. His Colossi are coming up now.
Not a big army.
But, yeah, not at all. And he's about to mine out of his main, so he's going to need to start transferring some things over to his 3rd, and really needs to find a way to defend it as well. So this is a fairly weak wall, and that is really susceptible to some sort of Zerg pressure down there. And, of course, if Sniper's going to play like a lot of Zergs do, he'll send a few forces down there, draw the army out of position, and run right up the gut through the natural.
I got to say, I'm actually a little bit surprised that Sniper is not just going for it. He is going for it now. But Inori's leaving with his Warp Prism, too. I'm surprised he didn't just throw down a couple Spores and some Spines and then move out a little bit earlier. And the first Colossus is out for Inori. He's got a bunch of Immortals, doesn't have a lot of sentries, but he's in a much better position to defend this than he was just a couple minutes ago after losing that big 2-base timing.
Well, we'll see if that Colossus alone is going to be enough. Colossus number 2 actually joining here in about 15 seconds. This is being chrono boosted. Yes, it is, so a little bit quicker than that. But Thermal Lance still about 40 seconds away.
Yep, 70 supply deficit for Inori still, and that Colossus is not going to be able to participate too much.
Oh, that is actually a disaster for Inori there.
Yeah, and a big amount of units attacking this 3rd base as well. So can Inori defend against this? This is huge amounts of pressure from Sniper. Sniper actually losing a decent amount of units here. The one Colossus doing a lot of damage at that natural expansion. And wow, Inori, did he delay long enough? It looks like he's still going to lose his 3rd.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
That's disastrous. I mean, losing the 3rd right now of all times is super, super critical. I mean, as we can see, he may be able to clean up a good portion of the rest of this army. Immortal may go down, though. No, actually stays alive just with 18 hit points, and Sniper does get out of there, now finally moving up to a 4th base of his own. But Inori, he is now only on a few mineral patches, each of those getting disastrously low at his natural, at his main, and his natural is about in the same position.
Yeah, I mean, he's still in a rough spot. He's not going to be able to do a whole lot as far as economy goes, and he can't really attack because he doesn't have the army to do it. Corruptors are out right now for Sniper, and as long as he doesn't do something completely, ridiculously dumb, he should be able to come back and beat Inori. I mean, it's not easy to attack into a Protoss army at most any time for Zerg when there's Colossi around. But if you're patient, if you bide your time, if you pick your encounters well, you can crush that army pretty badly. And there is still 70 supply lead for our Zerg player from MVP.
And Sniper was thinking about running in there. Oh, wow, catching a lot of Stalkers there, and it looks like he is going to pick this moment to engage. He did catch a ton of units. Yep. Picks off one of the Colossi, now finally neural parasiting a Stalker. Yeah, doesn't matter. That's just moral destruction, and Inori is out of the game. MVP tying things up 4-4.
Wow, Sniper, I mean, who needs this